Okay, so listen, this one particular thing that you are failing to focus on is causing you to be miserable, to not have clarity, to not have discernment, to not have the life that you actually are working so hard and diligently to achieve. Let me tell you a story so you can understand. I'm talking about myself. I'm not going to talk about y'all because y'all perfect. But me, I've been a full-time entrepreneur for 7 years. And initially, the story that I told myself is that I wanted to be a full-time entrepreneur because I wanted to have more quality family time with my husband and my children. I wanted to be a sports mom, and I wanted to do all the things I see that moms do on TV and wives do on TV. I wanted to have the freedom to come and go as I please, create my own schedule, and really live life however I chose to live it, because I worked at a corporate job. And at the job that I had, they gave you a start time and an end time, told you what time you go to the lunch. You had to, clock out sign off your computer or whatever when you had to go to the bathroom and different stuff like that. And I just felt like that was just too much control for somebody to have over my life, okay? And on top of that, going to the job, I was there 12 hours a day, and then it could take me anywhere from 30 minutes to 3 hours to get home every day because of traffic. So I was not happy, right? So I told myself, I need to be an entrepreneur because I want to be a better mom, better wife, and have this time freedom, this freedom in my life, right? And so I stepped into full-time entrepreneurship and I was working, right? Because I'm like, I have to make this money. I have to build this business so that I can have the financial freedom to provide for my family and help my husband and make sure my kids are taken care of and, build a legacy in the future, right? And initially, the things that I said I wanted, being the sports mom and being able to go to the school and be on the PTA and all those things, those options became available to me, but I really didn't want to do that stuff. I kind of sort of enjoyed being the sports mom, but the PTA stuff and all that, showing up to the school, I didn't want to do that. Okay, I didn't want to do that for real. So that was not a real why for me. And so it shifted back to me working. And the thing that I said that I wanted to get away from, working all the time, I went back to that, working all the time. So this time it was for my own purposes, but still yielding the same results. Less time with my family, less freedom to be able to do the things that I want to do because I have things in my business I need to take care of. I have clients I need to serve and blah, 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 right? And so this thing that I'm talking about that makes you miserable, have you on this rat race, building a life that you actually do not want, this thing that keeps you with lack of clarity and always trying to find and figure out what is the thing that you need to be doing, that you have to be doing, that you want to be doing in order to get to these results that are out there for you to achieve. This thing is gratitude. When I began to step in and to really live my life from a place of gratitude, so many things shifted for me. So many things that I thought was the end all be all of importance in my life just faded away because it really was not that important when I started to live from a place of gratitude. Living from a place of gratitude allowed me to connect more with people, actually to allow me to see people, respect people, honor time, because time is infinity in time, but it's not infinity for us in this existence, right? And so a lot of times we get so focused on the doing and the being of what we're trying to accomplish. And most of those goals are not really defined properly in the first place. So it's this ethereal thing out here that we're striving to get towards, but we haven't even defined completely to us what that looks like, what that feels like, what that existence really is, of this place of joy and contentment and happiness, right? That we're striving towards. Like I hear a lot of people say that they want to be millionaires now, right? But they can't even tell you how many figures a millionaire is, right? How many figures is a billionaire? How many figures is a trillionaire, right? But they're saying that they want to be this thing, but you don't even have the definition of what it is that you're trying to be. You don't even understand what totality of the thing that you're asking for, that you're striving for. So how can you get there if you don't even know where you're going for real? Right? And so that was my life of trying to get to a destination that I had conjured up in my mind, but I didn't really define what that destination was. I just wanted to be successful. I just wanted to be wealthy. Well, what does success look like for me? What does wealth look like for me? Now, by the way, I want to be a decillionaire, not just individually decillionaire, but collectively. Okay, I want to be able to control decillions of money, of wealth. That is 33 figures, by the way, okay? And so defining and then understanding from a place of gratitude. So again, when I began to reposition myself through the lens of gratitude, it centers you in your mind, it centers you in your heart and your emotions, it centers you in your actions and your belief systems, how you see things from perspectives shifts. Because again, when you're looking at people, you don't see them through the lens of judgment and mistakes and aggravation, right? Because you know that that is just a snapshot in their life, just a snapshot, just a little bit of a moment in their existence. And 5 minutes from now, tomorrow, a week from now, a year from now, that little moment will mean nothing. Probably won't even remember it unless you're one of those people who continually live in the past, that your everyday becomes your past moments. And so then you will remember, because your life is like a Groundhog's Day and you live every day of your past experiences, right? Because remember, we talked about before that you have a choice every single day. You only have the present. You only have today. You don't have yesterday. Yesterday is gone. And you do not have tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes, because every day that you wake up is today. And so your choice every single day in the today that you wake up in is, are you going to make today a replica of your past? Or are you going to make today a launching point for the future that you want to exist in to come, right? And so gratitude, again, allows me to appreciate moments. Like I do this thing when I'm laying in the bed with my husband. Like I got to put my feet on him, y'all. I put my feet on him because it like gives me comfort to know that he's there. And so I put my feet on him, and it just gives me this warm and joyous feeling inside, because I'm able to put my feet on him, able to connect with him in that way. That's a place of intimacy for me to be able to put my feet on him. Now that might be not important to you. Like, okay, that's a little weird, whatever. But for me and my husband, that is a special thing for me to be able to touch him with my feet and him to touch me with his feet, for our feet to touch, because that is a grounding space for us. It's a place of intimacy. And I love it. I very much enjoy it. But in the past, when I was focused on work, and do, and become, not understanding that I already am everything that I need to be to manifest in that moment what I needed to manifest in that moment of time, And I don't have to keep striving and running on this hamster wheel of trying to achieve based on what I see other entrepreneurs, other women, other mothers, other whatever, doing and showing. Not necessarily, I don't know what they're doing, because people only show really the highlights, right, of their life. And so if you're only looking at people's highlights, you're like, listen, they always winning. And I just feel like I'm barely making it all the time, right? But again, some people do, but most people don't tell you about the moments of, or the time frames of despair or depression or whatever that they are experiencing, the things that we would perceive as negative, because they want to show everything is okie dokie and okay. But when I was in those moments and I was striving and pressing, I even have to stop myself sometimes, because I can get in that mode to where I'm focused on a project and I'm like, okay, I got to get this done. Right? Because there's a time frame, there's a place of execution that I have set for myself that I want to be able to have this done and completed by, right? It does not always go according to my plan, right? But because I live from this place of gratitude, it doesn't bother me. Now, it used to wreck my world. I would be so upset. I would feel like a failure because I was not able to meet this deadline. I was not able to execute the way that I saw myself execute. I did not get the results that I had imagined in my mind. And so now I am depressed. Okay. I need to take some weeks, some days, whatever, because I need to work through my emotions because I'm upset about it. Right. But now from this place of gratitude, I understand, well, listen, everything is perfect and everything serves me. So if it did not work out according to my timeline, it's okay, because that must mean that something else needs to occur that I need to tap into and understand, right? So I need to come into alignment with the flow of how things are coming along, right? And not try to force my wheel onto what's happening, right? And gratitude allows me to see from that lens, to be able to have that perspective. So going back to my husband and my family, when I was in that work mode and trying to strive and accomplish things, them being present and around, wanting my attention, wanting to do something, that was aggravating, because I'm like, I'm busy. I have goals, I have deadlines, I have stuff that I'm working on. I have clients that need me to do X, Y, Z, and da 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 da. And I'm contracted to do this, and I have to fly out to do that, and da 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 da, right? And so them wanting their mom, them wanting my husband, not them, only got one husband. Him wanting his wife was annoying. I'm like, leave me alone. I'm asleep. Don't put your feet on me. Don't want to hold my hand. I'm asleep. Leave me. I need all of my hours in the wink time. And I'm a light sleeper. So any movement, any sound or whatever wakes me up, right? So if you touch me, listen, fight or flight. What's happening in the world, right? Because I was always anxious and trying to figure out what's the next move, how I'm gonna get this done, da, 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 da. And now that I'm not in that place anymore, I very much enjoy. I want to hold his hand. I want to touch his chest. I want to lay on him. I want to put my feet on him. I want to be, all over him or whatever. And likewise, right? I want my children to be like, hey, mom, come in and talk to me. They see me working, but they come in and they talk to me when they get out of school. They tell me about their day. They tell me about, what's going on. I very much enjoy having relationship with my children, right? Relationship with my husband, relationship with my friends, my family, right? And I can appreciate it because of the lens of gratitude. So that little shift, which is really major, right? It's not a little shift, but it's really major. And it does take some work, repositioning of, again, your mind, your heart, your emotions, your actions, to be able to live from that perspective. Because once you begin to live in that place of gratitude, you'll just really see how negative you were, how judgmental you were, how controlling you were, how easily aggravated and dissatisfied you were, right? Because gratitude shifts all of that. Like, those things don't exist. You cannot be a grateful victim. Like, it does not go together. And a lot of those things I just described is you taking on this victim mentality of this, oh, woe is me. Why does life have to be so whatever for me? And da 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 happens to me all the time, right? And it's this self-focused me mentality of, I'm the victim. But when you're grateful and you live from that lens, that perspective of gratitude, then you understand that it's not just about me. I am important in this equation, but the importance of me in this equation is not just for me, but in my relationship to others. Because you are not an island unto yourself. You need people. Okay. People who do not have connections with other people go crazy. They get depressed. They die early because relationships, networks of people is important. It gives life, right? And so valuing yourself and valuing connections with people and being honoring in how you move and position yourself in the world and being loving and being kind and being forgiving all comes through the lens of gratitude. So I would love to hear your perspective on that. Please feel free to share whether you agree, whether you disagree, was it an aha moment for you, or something that is like you have like a different perspective of that. So I'm gonna go ahead and open it up to the queens. What y'all got today?
I would say it's definitely an eye opener when you realize that you just don't have to be all and to end all. You have to just be in the present moment and execute that moment, enjoy that moment, but also don't neglect your responsibilities, don't neglect the people you love, because at the end of the day, whether your business goes great or not, your family is still there and you want them to still be there. You don't want them to check out on you because that can happen as well. As an entrepreneur since 1991, at the time when I began this journey, I was married. And then I went through a divorce, official divorce, 2004, but separated 2002. So the great thing about moving to the East Coast is you can take your business with you, right? You can start it anywhere. At the time, I was braiding hair a lot, and I'm also a professional clown, so I could clown anywhere. I can braid anywhere. And so I have my clothing business too, but clothing business, is based on developing clients in the area. However, my clients from Seattle, they were very faithful and still, like when I came here, so many people owed me money that I had money every Friday. It was really good. I treated them well and they're still in existence today. So that's the great thing about the entrepreneur life. But I've always gone back and forth with quitting entrepreneurship and going into full-time work because of the security of it. I never desired that security on a whole level, but the realisticness of my finances said that I needed more security to raise my children here. But I stand here 20 years later and I still haven't went back into the work field. Now, I will say I'm honestly looking right now, but it's because I'm in a different season and I want a different type of elevation and I need some numbers in order to create that. But I will never stop being an entrepreneur. And now that I'm a foster parent, so I said all that to say, the children are gone, they're finally out the house. And so I was like, okay, now I can do me either full-time entrepreneurship for real, and really do what I'm supposed to do, or I can go back into the work field. So I tried the full-time entrepreneurship, for real, but then COVID happened. So now I'm doing the opposite. But now that I'm a foster parent, I had to go back because now I have to parent on another level again. And this is the season I just left. Like, I was like, yay, I'm empty nester. I can do what I want to do. I can travel when I want to travel, right? But I'm realizing she needs my attention. Mm-hmm. He now just comes and sits at the bottom of my bed and aggravates me. But I'm welcoming the aggravation because I like the company. A couple of times I had to call her on some of the aggravation, like, listen, you can't start my morning off like this. I'm more equipped, once I'm up for an hour to deal with your shenanigans. But she actually physically told me, she was like, I've been giving you attitude for the last few weeks, and you just need to say the word attitude, because I've really been working on my attitude. And then I will put myself in check. I was like, that's it? That's all I gotta say? And so she is communicating to me what works for her. I'm
Mhm.
a more of a laxy daisy kind of parent. Like, I'm not yelling until I'm yelling. Like, I'm not snapping until I'm snapping. Like, if I say it, I just expect you to do it, right? And it's
Mhm.
not like we grew up, like I said it, you better do it or mama gonna smack you. Not that kind of hardness. But I'm a little bit, I'm gonna give you several chances before I snap, crack, on pop.
Mhm.
She's able to communicate to me what works for her and what doesn't work for her. And it's a shift, being in the moment, changing how I parent for her, because she's a different person from a different culture. And also understanding that family is important, my business is important. There's a lot of changes going on, and I have to navigate them properly and stay in a place of gratitude so that I don't go into a place of overwhelming, overdoing, people pleasing, business pleasing, comparisons of other businesses. Because when I was functioning in that mindset, I was spinning on a wheel like a little rat, and I wasn't going anywhere. And I was irritated with some of the businesses that I helped start. I'll be honest. I was irritated because they wouldn't come back and help me get past the hurdles that they went over after they left me, after I got them going. Like, they had their websites, and I was like, why don't you help me on my website? They was doing good with marketing. Why don't you help me on my market? I'm the one that started your business. I gave you inventory. But, instead of me functioning from a point of jealousy, I just had to say, you know what? I started them off with a pure heart, with no, I didn't want anything back. I didn't ask for a dime. And I need to keep that posture. And in that process, God is still going to bless my business. And He has. So a place of gratitude is a mindset shift from the negative ways of doing business, of parenting, of living, to I am all that I need to be in this moment. That's all.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing, Queen Alfreda. Yes. So one of the things that you pointed out is that when you live from a place of gratitude, so much clarity comes, right? Because you're able to process what's important and what's not, what's relevant and what's not. And by you being able to like tick all these other things that you thought was so important off, now you have these few things that are so clear, and now you're focused, you're working from this place of clarity and discernment, and so now you're only moving in alignment with these things from your place of gratitude that are really important, and you're building continually on that foundation. So gratitude really does change the game. Yes, ma'am. Queen Trinace, what
Good
you got?
morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday, Winning Wednesday.
Happy.
So, when I didn't know that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, I had a corporate job, and how I spent a lot of time with my children, because on my days off we would have a mental health day, and I would go get them in the middle of the day, and we would go to the movies, or we would do something fun like that. And I enjoyed that, but I didn't get into entrepreneurship until I wrote my first book in 2013. I was like, I think I could do this. But I need to be a full-time entrepreneurship based on the freedom to be creative, the freedom to be a part of community. And community for me is um, supporting girls, because I am going to get that not-for-profit for girls up and going. And work doesn't give me that freedom. So for me, I think I understand. I have clarity on my why, because my why is about other people, which is bigger than me. But where I disconnect that is maybe I don't have enough gratitude for where I am right now. I do have I have a good job. I like it. I actually love it here. But this is just a stop. This is just a place I'm going through as I grow to be into full-time entrepreneurship. And it's not just about money for me. It's about helping one girl one at a time. It's about helping one woman at a time. And I realized that was my goal in 2013 off of one little book. And here I am 5 books later. So that's definitely something to think about. Maybe I'm not appreciative of a lot of things. So that's gonna make me really, really think about, invest that time and to see what I don't really appreciate sometimes. Because we take a lot of things for granted. I'm pulling up at work right now. There's a guy who comes here. There are a lot of people who are handicapped who come here to do whatever work that they're doing. And I look at that and say, I can see, I can walk. And those are little things to some people, but to me, I think about stuff like that. So maybe it's something greater I need to have gratitude for.
Thank you for sharing, Queen Trinace. That was amazing. Yeah, it's like we take so many things for granted that we just like, you're so used to having them. You've had them your whole life, or even if you're having a great experience. Like I remember when Queen Trinace first got this new job, because she didn't really like the old job. And when she got the new job for the government, she was like, yes, yes, and yes, I'm excited, okay. And then when she actually got there, she's like, they treat you nice, they respect you, they appreciate your work and all this other stuff. It was a completely different experience. So being able to stay in that place of, this is the thing that I had waited for. This is the thing that I so desired, as far as having a job and being able to be in the workforce. You want to have a company that you work for that doesn't just treat you like a number, respect you, your time, have a team around you that help you to heighten your awareness and elevate and throughout the company and your positions, right? So that's the optimal thing if you're going to be in the workforce to have, and she has it. And so another person who works for maybe what the world would consider like a great company, let's say they work for like Goldman Sachs, but the environment at Goldman Sachs is not conducive to, free flow or creativity or whatever that person's needs is to be, a happy employee and produce at their highest level of existence. That atmosphere is not conducive. Maybe it's really competitive and they, work like the witch off the whiz or whatever, right? So they have a job, they make a lot of money, but the atmosphere is horrible. So being in an atmosphere, like she said, it's not about the money for her. It's about the people that surround her, the people who are in her world. And that makes all the difference, because again, we are not islands unto ourselves. We need community. We need healthy community, because healthy community helps us to really understand who we are and our positioning in the world. And again, wake up every day to be great, to want to be great, to want to be the highest expression of ourselves, because we want to be happy within ourselves and we want to be happy and carry that happiness forward to others.
Now that don't mean that I don't know that I'm going to be wealthy. I know it's coming.
No, that's a given. That's a given. Okay. Wealth is your inheritance. That's your birthright.
Right. So that don't mean I don't have that understanding, but that's so important to me. When my daughter said, "Mommy, you remember that time you came and picked us up from school?" And the lady say, "Did I have a doctor's appointment?" And you told her no. We were going to see the second showing of Iron Man. So I mean, that kind of stuff, although small, that's how now they live their life. They'll take a mental health day because that's what I showed them. And it's just so important to me, for me to be able to not only show my children, but that group of girls that I mentored a couple of years ago. It's just so important for us to show a different experience than necessary, that's maybe even different from what we learned.
Absolutely. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Everybody take mental health days, okay? Mental health weeks. Take your vacations, okay? They important. Don't just let them days be accumulating. Y'all better go somewhere. Even don't stay at home. Okay. I know some of y'all go on vacation and y'all just stay right at home. Go somewhere. Get out your house. Go to the next city over at least. Go somewhere else. Okay. And actually vacation. Get away from your natural environment that you're in, day out. Yeah. Go ahead, Queen Franchon.
Good morning, Queens.
Good morning.
I am definitely in a spirit of gratitude. Basically, having worked all my life and then went back to the job force. I am doing what I like to do. And I noticed I did not like the person I became when I went back to the job force, not to mention, still taking care of my grandson, taking care of my husband. It was just way too much. And dealing with attitudes of jealousy because you really didn't have to work. And people around you, well, one person around you could see it. And it was like they basically picked. It was like it was a competition. And it was funny to me because I'm like, I'm not here as a competition. I'm here to improve my skills and be a blessing to y'all. But when it started turning into that competitive, nitpicky spirit, and trying to dictate who I talk to on my cell phone when I'm sitting there doing absolutely freaking nothing, then it's a problem. What was a problem for me because you see that, how do I say it politically correct? No, I'm not. Anyway, that being the only chocolate drop in the office, and this person, not really a persona, but the obvious view that, hey, I'm living better than you, and you making more than I am, and I'm happy, I'm at peace. And it became apparent that they were trying to basically control and squash me, or squash my spirit at the same time. Mm-hmm. Even by telling me, well, you take too much time off. This is the hours that you could have worked, and this is the hours that you didn't. You take too much time off. I said, but when I take time off, you don't pay me. What's the problem? So just kind of got a little tired of that, and my husband got tired of it, got tired of me coming home stressed and aggravated and wasn't sleeping. He's like, let it go, because they're not going to mistreat you. Mm-hmm. First, you're the best thing since sliced bread as a temp, where she can take a vacation. And as a temp employee, you get a key to the building and a security code. But now that they see all of your skills and that your life is happy, you have people to care about you and the things that you can do and make them look bad, then it's an issue. So we already know. Yeah, I bounced. So taking mental health days, because there will be times, I just couldn't deal with the drama and the haterade. I take my mental health day. And now dealing with multiple personalities and clients, I take my mental health day once a week. And depending on the stressful client, it may be 2 days a week. So it's important to take care of yourself and have gratitude for the life that you have, and not so much look at the end result of things you want to accomplish, and know that you're going to accomplish them. But if you don't live your life to the fullest, because the next moment really isn't promised, and make the most of the time that you have with your family, your loved ones, and appreciate, touching them feet in the bed, the hands, all of that. You can't take it for granted, and your family, whether or not you say anything, they feel They feel your spirit. They feel when you're anxious. They feel when you're upset or, antsy. If they're in tune with you and they love you, they can sense those things that you're dealing with. So it's best to have some downtime with them. And I'm thankful. I love you, Queen Chi.
I love you too.
So that's all I wanted to add.
Yes, yes, and yes. Like, live, guys. Like, really, really live. There's so many people out here who are just existing. They wake up every day with these monotonous routines, day in, day out, and they are not living. Me and my sister, we call them zombies, zombie life, right? Just walk around like zombies. They are technically alive, right? They got a heartbeat, but their life is not alive. They don't live. And so don't be a zombie. Make sure that you are existing in full life in every moment of your days, because you cannot get those moments back once they're gone. They are the past now. And so show up in your life and be present in your life. Nobody can do that for you. I'm going to take this a little grim for a second, but I think about the things that I want my family to remember if I was to die. And so I do very specific things, with my husband and with my children, that if I was to die and no longer be in this plane, that they would remember. And, that I did those very specific things, like my mom did XYZ, as kind of like, I don't want to say it's a ritual, but something that I always do, because I want to be present and, of course, live on in their hearts and their minds. But I want to give them something to hold on to, and not just monetary or earthly treasures, but actually in my presence, that I was present for them, that I love them so so completely and so totally. And, I love and enjoy being their mom. I love and enjoy being my husband's wife and friend, right? And all these things, right? And being in a relationship and connected with them. So showing up and living, again, sets the example, because I'm one of their first teachers for my children. And so I want to show them an example, like Queen Trinae said, of living and not existing. So, yeah. Thanks for sharing, Queen Rashawn.
Can I say something else about the zombie mode?
Of
I
course
don't
you
miss
can.
it. I don't miss it at all. I don't miss it, and being afraid to step out on fear, because I was worried about the bottom line, one income, how we're going to make it. God has really blown our mind to show, hey, that one income, yeah, you can make it, and then some. So, and I know that's the way the enemy can trap you into thinking, well, I got to make this money. I got to do this. I got to do this. Money is good, and it makes life a little better, but it's not everything. It really isn't.
Absolutely. Money is a currency. It's something you need for transactions. Like, if you just had money, but let's say you had like right now, the fiat dollar is phasing out. The world is quickly moving to digital currency and cryptocurrency. So let's say the people who don't shift, this is a teaching moment, the people who don't shift or are really last minute to shifting, right? So they're creating this bigger wealth gap right now. And the people who are like holding on, and they have these fiat dollars, these dollar bills and whatever, and they got them in a little sock inside their drawer, refrigerator, or whatever. When the world shifts and that currency is no longer valid, they have money, it's considered money, but it is useless. It has no value. Money does not have value unless it is being transacted, unless it is moving as a currency. So holding or even building this idea of money, and the sacrifice of your life, your time, your energy, your flow, your creativity, your happiness, your joy, it's not worth it. It's not worth it, because when you do what you love and you live life and you are joyous and you carry the atmosphere that we've been talking about all this time, then things that you need, whether it be money, whether it be different kind of resources, whether it be different people, they will automatically be attracted and show up in your awareness, because that is what you're focused on. You're focused on going in this direction and you're in alignment with that. And so what you need to continue to be in alignment will show up automatically on your journey. And so money in itself should never be our focus. Never. All right, anybody else?
I've been listening to everybody until I got bumped off by my doctor's call. Yeah, I mean, I agree with all that has been said. You know, everyone views life from a different perspective. And I have been in the workforce for many, many years. Not that I have many jobs, because in Aruba I only had 2 jobs. I was an advertising agent, and then I went into the timeshare industry. And it helps you to see things in perspective, because I remember I had a colleague, and I worked the day shift, she worked the night shift. She made a little bit more money than I did because of the night shift. And I remember, you know, talking to her about life and stuff. And all she was interested in was changing her car every year, having different boyfriends, and all of them just taking her money. And she came from Grenada, so I know the Caribbean mindset sometimes is different. But I tried to speak with her, but it was like water running off of a duck's back. And I go home, you know, several times, and I look at her situation. She's now morbidly obese, so nobody's interested in her anymore. She doesn't have the same comfort that we had way back in the 80s, early 90s. And so now she's bouncing all around the same job, but they're not treating her kindly because she's aged and they're bringing in the young folks. And now she has nothing. She's living in this tiny apartment. I remember when I was building my property and I said, aren't you going to start building or something? I'm not from Aruba. I said, but you've been here for 18 years. I can always remember that conversation. I said, you've been here for 18 years. You're not going back to Grenada. Oh, no. And now I think she wishes, you know, that she had listened, because sometimes the situations we find ourselves in could be, for many people, is a lack of knowing who they are. If you don't know who you are, people can try speaking into your life and it means diddly squat, because you don't have the ability to hear what they're saying. You're listening. There's a difference between listening and hearing. I can tell my kid, hey, do that. They heard me, but did they really hear, or were they really listening? Because you come back an hour later and it hasn't been done. You know, I remember here in the States, I worked at the Department of Revenue. And what was surprising to me, it was almost African American atmosphere in there. Most of the people were African Americans and the bosses. But man, I have never seen such cutthroat business. It was like, I thought we were all African Americans and we're supposed to help each other, blah, 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 in my mind. But that's not what I was seeing. And I remember when I was leaving there, I was in the office with some of the managers as I was leaving, and I said to them, I said, the way you guys treat people is ridiculous. And that's me. I always have to speak. Sometimes I need a zipper on my mouth. I don't know. But I said, the way you guys treat people is ridiculous. I said, not because you're a manager, and there was this particular Black lady. She wasn't even a manager, she was a supervisor, but man, she had the biggest mouth and condescending, no respect for the employees. And I said to them, I said, listen, I'm working here, but you have a manager title. I can tell you something. When I was in Aruba, I made more money than you're making here. I made more money than all of you. I remember one time they said, Ingrid, what are you doing here? I said, I just need a job. I just need something to do. You know, because when they see that I graduated from Georgia State and all the accolades I have from there, they were like, what are you doing here? I said, I just need a job. But it opened my mind's eye to who people think they are is how they will treat someone. Oh my gosh, and it's time for my class. My alarm is going on. I told you I have a class starting. All right, so I say all this to say this. More so as believers and as Christians, when we know who we are, when we know what our mandates are, and when we're able to walk according to the calling of God in our lives, it makes a difference. If you do not know what God wants you to do, where you are supposed to be in the different seasons of your life, you will have difficulties. You will encounter problems. So I would say, having recognized what God wants you to do and doing it to the best of your ability, we have desires, we have ambitions that sometimes pushes us ahead of God. And God say, hey, daughter, slow down. You're gonna get there. Slow down. Don't put yourself through all this anxiety and pressure. Just slow down. You know, and I'm learning. I notice I say I'm learning. So that means I haven't learned this yet. And I'm 66 years old. So he's just saying, I got this. I had your plan, your life plan before you even came on the scene. I knew you before you were even born. So just relax, depend on me, and allow me to work it out. So I gotta run. I love you, Queens. So until we meet again, I'm sorry I gotta cut short.
We
I
love
hope
you too.
I was a
Enjoy your
blessing.
class. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. God bless.
Bye. So yeah, she said something so cool when she was talking about identity. If you don't understand your identity, people can speak life really into you all day long. But if you cannot see that for yourself, that's why it's important for you to have a vision, to envision, to be able to see beyond what is presently here in the natural, in the earth realm. So you create in two spaces. You have to create in the spiritual realm first, in the vision realm, the imagination realm first, because you cannot birth what you cannot see, what you do not see. So vision is so important. But like she was giving the example of that woman that she used to work with, I can tell you all day long that, hey, you're going to be a quadrillionaire, right? And some of y'all will be like, yes, that's who I am. I'm a quadrillionaire right now, okay? That's who I am. It's my DNA, it's my mantle. And then some other people will be like, it's an instant rebuke in they body. Like, no, how could I possibly? You don't know. And then here we go with the victim. You don't know my story. You don't know my background. You don't know my finances right now. Everything's going crazy. And And they disqualify themselves through those conversations that they have with themselves, the story that they tell themselves and others, because one, they don't live from a place of gratitude. Number two, their mind, their belief system, the thoughts they have about themselves, their situation, their future is very low. And so they carry themselves, they speak to themselves, they position themselves always in a place of lack, when lack does not even really exist. So yes, yes, and yes. Be open to really hear and receive what others see on your life that are blessings, because sometimes others are able to identify things in you and on you that you have not yet realized is a blessing yourself, right? Because it's so familiar to you, because it's so much of your normal that you don't realize that other people don't know how to do the thing that you naturally know how to do. They don't know how to, or they don't understand, and they're not able to break down information the way you naturally are able to do. Like, so many things about you come natural, and so you just discount it like, oh, that's whatever. That's just, me being me. But another person is like, oh my God, you're like liquid gold, okay? When you speak, when you show up, when you whatever, do what you do, that is so natural to you. And so being able to receive those things that you would just discount as nothing is a blessing, is a wealthy place, or could be a wealthy place for you if you allow that to be utilized, because it's a part of your identity, is a part of who you are, and understanding that everything about you is valuable. Everything about you, from, the way I pick my wigs. Okay, somebody would pay me to pick wigs for them, okay, because they suck at it. But when I pick my wigs, today we had a rush moment, okay, so you may be able, no, you can't really tell. Okay, so the way I pick my wigs or whatever, and I put these janks on, I switch my hair up all the time, y'all know, okay? But you don't know, they be like, that girl, her hair, she just, okay. I try to stay in the same color range, so I don't confuse the people, the white people, I don't confuse them too much. Like what be going on. But, sometimes, like, I'm a little darker today, this time. I usually stay in the brown and in the blonde highlights, because that's how my natural hair is. But listen, somebody would pay me to get them wigs together. Okay. And I don't make wigs. I don't do nothing. I just pick them and then put them on my head or whatever. Right. So don't discount you. Everything about you is valuable. It's valuable to somebody. All right. Anybody else? We got 4 minutes.
Good morning, Queens. I'll just be real quick because I think everybody has said all that there needs to be said. But I'm just grateful every day. For life. I'm coming up on my 65th birthday in July. And to be able to still do what I do, and to be able to still be out here and ministering and dance, especially on Saturday, that thing, I ministered to myself on Saturday, I have to tell you that. So it was a blessing. So I'm just grateful to God every single day for everything.
Amen.
Period.
Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Queen Vanessa, we're so glad you made it today. I have missed you.
Good morning, Queens. I missed y'all. As always, grateful to be able to join you when I can. Thank you all for sharing. I do mean that. Thank you all for sharing. Like you said, some gems were dropped, and I agree with Queen Venetia. Pretty much everything that needs to be said is said. Like you said, something as simple as, well, I'm a professor, so we have some people at our jobs that are still not comfortable with attending graduation and being in large crowds, and the option is, hey, you can take a sick day. And I remember literally on Monday, I told my coworker, you know what, there's some people who cannot take a day off and not get paid. That's something to be grateful for. That's not everybody's testimony. Like, I didn't say testimony at work, but just something that small of, I'm not comfortable, but I have the option of not attending, yet still getting paid. Like the small things, whether or not you're happy with the job, whether or not you're happy with this, that, and the other, just little things like that. Just always taking the time to, like you said, acknowledge. Yeah, I watched a handicapped student. Literally the only thing that he could do is blow air to control his entire chair. But his father dropped him off. Just seeing how they had to modify the car to do that. It's like you said, don't take things like walking and being able to talk and move for granted. There's somebody that can't. And then for the people that are like, oh, I can't, like you said, with the sob stories, I can't do this, I can't do that. There's somebody that literally cannot move, and the only thing they can do is breathe, yet they are pressing and getting their college degree. So there's all sorts of levels of gratitude and taking the time to notice and acknowledge. And I'm so glad we can just keep going on and talking about things that we're grateful for, because there's so many things the Lord has blessed us with. So we just need to slow ourselves down and take the time to acknowledge. And in his time, in his due time, he'll bless us with even more. So I'm
Yes.
done, and I pray you queens have a good day.
Thank you. You as well. And the one thing I want to leave you guys with is that from the lens of gratitude, it slows you down so that you can accelerate forward. Like, that's what's so cold about it. It really slows you down so that you can appreciate all of these factors, all of these things, all of these levels of what's currently present, and refocus you in such a way that now you're sharpened and you can take off and propel forward in a way that you would not have been able to when you were doing all the things and you were focused on all the things and you were here and here and here and here and here because you were just overwhelmed and frustrated and all these different emotions and things that were present. But when you synchronize yourself with gratitude, it really does slow you down in a way that accelerates you forward. So that's the last thing I wanted to leave y'all with. Well, this has been awesome and amazing. I appreciate you queens showing up today. I love y'all. Happy birthday. Happy Wednesday. Have an amazing, awesome day on purpose. And I will see y'all on Friday.
Have a blessed